So I've got a Polo in today to do brake discs and pads on it. They're super easy to do. I'll show you how to do it yourself. So let's get into it. This is a 2018 model. When you jack it up, don't forget to chock your rear wheels if you're doing this on the floor. Luckily for me, I'm using a ramp. When you lift it, don't lift on this part here. Go a little bit further down underneath, and you can see there's like a little section here, like a little cutout, and that's the sill rail running all the way along. That's where you jack these from. Now you don't need a lot of tools at all for this job. So 17mm and a breaker bar, that's to remove your wheel nuts. You got a T30 Torx bit. I've just got this on a quarter drive ratchet. That's to remove your brake disc. This is to remove the little caps that go over your wheel nuts. 7mm Allen key. That's for your brake caliper, and I've got that on a ratchet. Screwdriver, it's always good to have a screwdriver, help you get the brake pads out and things like that might be stuck. Hammer if the brake discs are stuck on, and I've got a big set of water pump pliers here. That's just to push the caliper pistons back. So let's get into it. So pop your bonnet open. Once you popped it open, I'm going to come underneath it here, grab this and pull it to the left. So it's just where the VW badge is. Grab that, pull it to the left, and as you're holding it to the left, you can then lift the bonnet. You got this here, your bonnet steady. That goes on there. On the left hand side of your engine bay, you've got your brake fluid reservoir. Take the cap off it, lefty loosey, righty tighty, and don't cut all your fingers open. There we go, take that off. The reason we take that off is because when we push the pistons back, all the fluid will come back into the reservoir. That's actually maybe a little bit too full, so don't be surprised if you see this dribbling out and ending up all over the floor when you're doing it. Right, now I'm just going to lift the vehicle up slightly. There we go, wheel's still on the floor. I'm going to take these little caps off. So let's get this. Now there should be one of these or something similar provided in the boot, but you know, some people lose them or anything like that, so let's just pop them all off if we can. There we go, there's 1, 2, nope, 3, 4, 5, come on. There we go. The tricky little things these are. Let's do the other side. It's already damaged, you can see that. I've not done that. That one's damaged as well, actually. Go. There we go. Right, now we can put this back. Get our 17mm. Now, if you've got access to an impact gun, obviously you can use an impact gun, but you don't always want to use an impact gun, especially on the lock and wheel nut, because the lock and wheel nuts are quite a delicate thing. So if you put that key in there now, and you're not perfectly pushed onto it and use an impact gun, you can break the key, and you're going to be in a much bigger kind of situation there. So I always just use a bar to loosen these off. And then if you want to use the impact gun after all the wheel nuts are kind of loosened, then you can. Right, they were quite tight. Let's do the other side. It's difficult doing this one-handed. Get those caps before we lose them. There we go. Right, all them wheel nuts are now cracked off. Don't need that bar anymore, so I'll leave that there. let's send it up and then we'll take the wheels off. So now we've finally got it in the air. I've cracked off all of the wheel nuts with the 17mm. I'm going to put it on the impact gun now, just makes it easier. Take both the front wheels off. So now I've got the wheels off. If you've left the key in the ignition, you're going to be able to turn the steering still. So I'm just going to turn the steering now. So pop these little caps off the back here. So this is your brake caliper. Now on most cars, the brake carrier is removable. On this car, the brake carrier is part of the hub, so it's not removable. But it makes this job 10 times easier. So these little caps here, just pop them off there. Got one on the bottom as well. And that is a 7mm Allen key. So I'm going to grab the 7mm here. I'm going to put it on a little extension, makes it a little bit easier. Put that on there, if I can get it on. I'm not left-handed, there we go. Now lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. So put that in there. Loosen both of these off. There we go. Right, take the ratchet off now. So sometimes these get a little bit stuck inside because that's just all rubber inside there. So you can see the thread there. Let me get a torch. Find one. There we go. Got a torch. So put a torch on there. So you can see the threads there turning as I'm spinning this. Sometimes I'll get a little bit stuck in the end there. So just gently pull this back while maybe pulling down as well to keep a little pressure on that. And there you go. You can see the gaps there now. That means we can get the caliper off. Do the same on the bottom as well. Where are we here? There we go. There you go. You see it's coming out of there. Done. Now just leave them kind of dangling. Now, got a couple of options here. Most of the time these will be a little bit stuck on to get them off. Sometimes they will just totally flick off. Easiest option is going to be get your screwdriver, a decent one. You can kind of push it in there and try and, oh there we go, sorry. You can push it in there and try and push the piston back slightly, because you need to back the piston off a little bit just to release it. But these will only hinge one way, so they won't pull out from the bottom. Because if you look here, there's like a retaining kind of piece on the caliper. So you have to always pull these from the top first like this, and then slide it out like that. See? Now, these pads, all of them look the same, but they're not. So let me pop these out here. As I say, I'm not left-handed, so this is quite difficult to do with my left hand. Right. I'll get the outside one out first, and I'll get the inside one out. Right. So, you look at them both there, they look the same, but they're not. So if you look at them like this, you can see this one is kind of folded over on itself, and this one is open. So this is the outside one, because it slots into this slot here like this, slots down, and it's just it sits in those little grooves there. And then this one is folded over like that, because that sits inside the piston like that and pushes in. So got them out now. You know, I wasn't kidding when I say these are an easy job. We can hook the brake caliper over there like that, stop it from dangling. Now usually at this point you'd have to take the brake carrier off, but you can see here that they're an open face on them. So all you do now is you get your T30 Torx bit. I've got that here. Put it in reverse. Loosen it off. So look at that, there we go. There you go. Don't lose your little grub screw. Leave that there. Leave that over there. And take this off. Ta-da. There we go. brake disc, brake pads, removed. Now, when this all goes back together, we need to push this piston in, so I'll do that now. So for that, I've got these big water pump pliers, so let me just wiggle these down a little bit bigger. There we go, so I've got these jaws a bit bigger now. So now, oh, this is difficult to do, I'm really sorry. There we go. So we've got it like that. I'm going to gently squeeze that. You can see that piston there is pushing in. See that squeezing in? There we go, that must be all the way. Yeah, it won't go any further. So that's all the way back in. So that side of it's done. We want to make these make sure these are nice and free. These are little sliders, so they go in and out there nicely. That goes up and down nicely as well, like that. And then we're just going to want to clean all this up here, clean all around here. I mean, I know it looks like someone's not long done these brakes, to be honest, maybe a couple of months ago. But the guy wants some new ones, so we can have some new ones. And someone's gone absolutely wild with the copper grease. I don't like using copper grease, especially not like this. If it requires a small little smear, I'll give it a small little smear, but I don't coat it like this. It makes more of a mess. So I'll go and grab my tools so we can clean all this off now. A wire brush will mostly do, but I like to get a file as well and just file this down, because when the pads sit like this, so they slide along this. So the two surface areas that need cleaning is the top piece there, and this piece there, and just give that piece a little clean as well, because you can see that's where the pad will slide along. If you leave that, I know these kind of fall on and you know, there's loads of room to play with there, so they're not going to stick as they are, but while you've got them all off, you may as well give them a good clean. If you leave loads of debris on there and it ends up sticking, if the pad sticks on a little bit of an angle, it's going to wear funny. It could wear down prematurely, so you know, you may as well just do the job properly while you're here. Just go and grab some tools. So first of all, just use a little bit of brake cleaner to clean everything off. Now, get your wire brush. Get the file. So I've now got all this nice and cleaned up, cleaned all the subface up a little bit. I've cleaned where this is going to be sat, and same on the top as well. Piston is pushed back and these move nice and freely. So now we can go and start putting it all back together. Now obviously just replicate this on the exact other side. Oh, sorry, replicate this exactly on the other side. I've not obviously stripped this side down yet, but it is the exact same. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to set this camera up here, just going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. Actually, before we do that, so the brand of brake discs that I've gone for, they come with like a little bit of a coating on them from the factory. Now if yours do, you're going to want to get some brake cleaner and clean it all off. So give it a good clean off. It's a good practice to give them a good clean off regardless actually anyway. And then we'll do the back of it as well. See how greasy it is on the back side of it. There we go. So I'll set the camera up now so you can see what I'm doing. Putting it back together. There we go. So first thing we'll do now is take our nicely cleaned up disc. I've just made it all messy because my hands are filthy. Clean it back up again. So we'll take our nicely cleaned up disc, pop it back on, and then spin it round to the right place wherever the grub screw goes in. Take the grub screw and start spinning it in. Now these little grub screws, they're only just to kind of nip it in place. You don't need to swing off it to get it tight. It's just got to be nipped in. That's it, nice and tight. Now we will take, there they are. We will take the inner brake pad. As I said before, with these brake pads, the inner one has ears that are like this. It'll go over like that, and the outer one doesn't. So we'll take the inner one first and put the inner one in. So we're going to grab the caliper, pull it down like this. Make sure you're putting it in the right way. Like this. We're going to push it in one side like this, and in the top one. And then we can then push it with our thumb to get that last one in. Make sure it's clicked all the way in place. You see how that's nice and flush there? That's all the way back. Now we want to grab the outside one, get the outside one, and again make sure it's the right way, and that one will just push straight down and they will click into place there. That's it, done. Now we need a little bit of brake grease. So I've got a little bit of Ceratec here. We just want to put that on the ears here of the pads. Just a little bit there, not a lot. If I can get some out at all. I'm running out of this stuff. There we go. A little bit there, a little bit there. Same on this one. And the same on these sides. And there, and there, and there. And there, that's good. And then if you remember from before, this caliper will only go on, will come off one way. So we need to slot it in the bottom first. So it slots in between the brake pad and in between the caliper itself, and then pushes on like that. Now take the 7mm and wind it in by hand first, making sure that they're screwing in nice and true. We don't want to cross thread them in, so just spin it in as far as you can by hand first, so you know they're going in nicely, which they are. There we go. Now we'll get the ratchet on it, tighten it up, just tighten it up until it just stops, just kind of, there you go, just a little nip. And again, just a little nip. And now, you don't want to go crazy on these, so they're just kind of nipped tight now. Just give it a little push past it. Like that, that's good. Little push past it. There we go, good. I don't know what torque goes on those, but I mean, it's difficult when you've been doing brake jobs and stuff for years and years. You know how tight something should be, but just kind of use the weight of the ratchet to stop it, and then I'd say probably go past like another 45 degrees, say, and that's enough. It doesn't need a lot at all. So once you've tightened up both of those 7mm, you then put these caps back in from before. You push the caps back in, pop them in, and then that is you totally done. The brakes are all done for now. So I'm just going to go and repeat the same on the other side, and then I'll pick back up after that. So I've just finished up with the other side. Other side's all done, just exactly the same. T30 to take off the brake disc. The two 7mm Allen keys there and there. Pop them caps off. Don't forget the caliper hinges from the bottom here, so you have to pull the top of the caliper off first, swing it off. Don't forget, this is the outside one, and then the inside one obviously curls over. So that's all done now. Just about to put the wheels back on. Make sure your hub is nice and clean. Make sure the inner face of the wheels is nice and clean. And then we can go and put the wheels on now. So that's what we'll do now, put the wheels on. So now that we've put the wheels on, we've just nipped up the wheel nuts. We're going to send it down to the floor, so the wheel is touching the floor, and we're going to torque up the wheel nuts. The wheel torque on these is 120 Newton meters. So I've set my torque wrench to 120 Newton meters. Oh, there we go. Right, let's torque it up now. Go. Right, let me just double check all these are tight. Then we'll put the caps on. There we go. Now we've clicked all them. We'll put all of our wheel caps back on, and then we'll go and do the other side. I've just torqued both of the wheels, both of the front wheels, put the caps on. There's that side with the caps back on. So now the only thing left to do is pump the brake pedal and then put the cap on. So we'll pump the brake pedal first. Let me just send this down off the ramp. There we go. I'm just going to try and roll away because I've got no chocks under it. That's fine, it's not going to roll anywhere. Get in it. Let's pump the brake pedal down. There you go, brake pedal's gone nice and hard. Get back out. Put the cap back on. Check the levels right first, obviously. Which the level is, looks good. There you go, put the cap back on. Don't forget to put your lock and wheel nut back where it came from. Close your bonnet. Be steady back there. Ta-da! All done.